The NBA playoffs are now over, which means now I'm going to be going over and ranking the entire 2024-25 postseason based on how entertaining and fun it was to watch. Was it good? Was it terrible? We'll find out. Starting with the first round, we'll start in the West with Thunder versus Grizzlies. This series was pretty one-sided, even though the last two games were a bit close. The Thunder were clearly the better team, and it's crazy to think that this is the same team that lost to Memphis a few years ago by like 73 points. I mean, there would be some games where almost every starter on the Thunder would be in double digits. Now, in terms of entertainment value, it wasn't all that great. The only thing that I do remember from this series is this was around the time that the free throw memes for SGA started appearing, or as I like to call them, FTA. After Ja Morant got injured, Memphis basically said, "We are injured. We will not be able to play for the rest of this game. We are going to sell this lead and lose the series." Also, for some reason, Scottie Pippen Jr. just decided to start going crazy in the last two games. Bro's a garbage time demon. But nah, it kind of sucks that Ja got injured. I still think OKC would have won, but it would have been a little more interesting nonetheless. I'm going to give this series a D. Would have been higher if Memphis was healthy, but it was a pretty lopsided beatdown. Next up, we have the Nuggets versus the Clippers. Now, this series was crazy. First off, the fact that they fired Mike Malone right before the playoffs may be the most low IQ move ever, and I really think it's one of the main reasons that the Nuggets lost later to the Thunder. Also, the fact that MPJ turned into a complete brick, but I'll get to that later. This was just cinema from start to finish. First game, we get a vintage Russell Westbrook performance. Unk just decided to turn back the clock once again and show everyone he still got it. He was super clutch in the fourth quarter and in overtime. Harden is also hooping out of his damn mind. And then in game 2, Kawhi is off a bean and he just scores 39. It was still a close game though. People forget software update Kawhi is an MVP caliber player until he gets injured again. The Clips barely edge out a victory and now it's tied 1-1. Game 3 was a blowout. Clippers are up 2-1, and then in game 4, Gordon and Harden start throwing hands. There's like 100 texts. Even the concession workers are getting texts. It was crazy. Denver starts choking, and then 8 seconds left. Game tied at 99. About to go into overtime. Jokic heaves a fucking brick from beyond the sea, and Aaron Gordon, last second, dunks it to win the game. Crazy finish. This wouldn't be the last time Gordon bailed out the Nuggets, but we'll get to that later. Game 5, Jamal Murray, owner of the Los Angeles Lakers, goes off 43 points, complete blowout. Clips the next game, another close one, and then we get to game 7. Nuggets were just too good, man. Blew out the Clippers and move on to the semis. This series is gonna go at a high A tier. I mean, it had it all. Overtime, close matchups, crazy scoring games, game winners. This was a fun series to watch. Only thing is, I wish the last game was a little bit closer, but it is what it is. Moving on, we have the Lakers versus the Timberwolves. You know what pisses me off about this series? Lakers had every chance to win this series, and then they would just do what the Lakers do best, which is find ways to miss every single shot once a lead has been established. Game 1, Naz Reid hits like 6 threes. Like, why is this man not starting? It's crazy. Game 2, Luka goes off. It's 1-1. And then game 3 really shows what's lacking with the Lakers, and that's their ability to have a deeper roster of players that can play their roles well. LeBron, Luka, and AR are always going to cook no matter what, but it's when you have players like Rui and Hayes who are just so inconsistent, and that's where you lose in these big playoff games. And when you look at the Wolves, they got a good roster of role players that just contribute more. Wolves would win a close game 4, and then game 5 was just a nail in the coffin. I mean, this dude Rudy Gobert turned into fucking prime Wilt Chamberlain with this stat line. Ant straight up beat the brakes off this Lakers team, and being a YN might just be the best base for the league right now. I'm going with a strong C on this one. It could have been higher, but it was just so frustrating to watch the Lakers lose some of these games. It definitely could have been closer if the Lakers had another decent scorer, but then again, how much help does LeBron need? Our next matchup, Rockets versus Warriors. Now this series over-delivered in terms of how fun it was to watch. And I'll be completely honest, I did not give a shit about this series at all. I was like, okay, I'm focused on Denver Clippers and every single second of Knicks, because as I will get to in a minute, the Knicks are must-see TV. But no, I was wrong. This was one of the most underrated series that we got. Game 2, Jimmy Butler takes a bump on the ass, pause. Jalen Green goes off, 38 points to tie the series 1-1. Then from there, it gets interesting because Game 3, Draymond pulls out his signature move, which is just him being violent and loud. Draymond lil bros Jalen Green, and then Jalen Green just absolutely shits the bed for the rest of the series. Warriors are up 3-1, and just as the Warriors are about to win the series, this man Frederick Van Vliet just decides to remind everyone, hey, let's not forget about 2019. So yeah, he starts balling out of his damn mind, and now we're tied 3-3. And then Buddy Hield decides to go, y'all must have forgot who I was on the Kings. He drops a 30 piece, and then the Warriors win the series. This series was very underrated. Lots of crazy moments where you see some veteran players just turn back the clock. I'm gonna go with a strong B on this one. This one was pretty good. We hop over to the East, starting with the Cavs versus the Heat. I'm gonna keep this one brief. This one was boring as shit. It seems to be the case with the whole entire Eastern Conference, not named the Knicks or the Pacers. It's crazy, like the Cavs were clearly the best team in the league. They were gonna destroy the Heat, no question, especially now that Jimmy was gone. Donovan Mitchell was literally hooping off injury and he was still cooking the Heat. But yeah, it was just boring to watch. This one gets an F. And this is why I also hate play-in tournaments, because it was literally a 10 seed playing the number 1 seed. That's just way too big of a skill gap between teams. And yeah, that's that. We move on to Boston versus the Magic. Another boring matchup. And listen, I hate the Celtics with a passion. I think the whole team is a bunch of cornballs, and it's so crazy. Like, Boston literally got a documentary after winning the championship. But yeah, they win games. They have great chemistry, great defense, and all that. Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner need some help, man. They're so good, but the rest of the team is just a bunch of plumbers. This was also an F. Boring series overall. Now, another Eastern Conference barn burner. We have Pacers versus Bucks. The Bucks are not just the same team as they used to be, man. And it's just sad. It's also sad that Dame got injured. I mean, his whole time here in Milwaukee has just been kind of disappointing. The series really did make me fall in love with the Pacers, though. The Pacers just have such a consistent roster, and it's to the point where they don't need to have a single star that's doing all the work. Like, they could just equally distribute who's getting the ball. The series was also pretty bland, except for the last game. Finally, there was something entertaining for us fans to watch. So the game goes into overtime, and the Bucks and Pacers are going band for band, 3 after 3, and the Bucks are up by 7 with like 30 seconds to go. And in true Indiana Pacers fashion, Halliburton becomes prime MJ and just makes 2 clutch shots. I'm gonna give this series a C. I was thinking a high D, but the ending was just so wild that I had to put it higher. Moving on, we have the New York Knicks versus the Detroit Pistons. This was straight up a nail biter, down to the wire on basically every single game. I'm actually so happy seeing the Pistons able to be contenders after that long stretch of just being trash, especially when they were on that insane losing streak not too long ago. Cade Cunningham, certified bucket. The games were close, but man, Jalen Brunson is just too nasty. This series especially showed me that the Knicks made a lot of improvements since the last time they were in the playoffs, especially with some good pickups such as Cat that can just bully people around in the paint and shoot threes. This was just a banger of a series, and I will say this, the Pistons are going to continue to improve, and who knows, maybe next season the Eastern Conference will be worth watching if we can start adding more competition with these younger teams. This one's getting an S. Going back to the West for the semifinal matchups, we have the OKC Thunder versus the Denver Nuggets. Game 1, Jokic is just cooking everyone. I mean, just look at this stat line. It's just insane. And then Aaron Gordon once again saves the day. Game 3. I mean, this dude is just unbelievably talented and clutch, man. Next game comes and it's just a blowout. Thunder literally had 8 players with double digits. I mean, this was just one of those performances where you just start feeling bad for the losing team. Straight up belt to ass on Denver. Then the next game, MPJ's crippled ass legit comes comes back with an ice pack strapped to his shoulder and puts up a crazy game alongside Aaron Gordon. This series was a back and forth with SGA and Joker, with the winner basically getting the MVP. Game 4 was kind of slow and boring. I mean, Denver legit had 8 points at the start of the second quarter. Same with Game 5, Denver couldn't buy a bucket if they wanted to in the fourth quarter. Next game, we get a Julian Strawther legacy game. Him and Murray legit saved Denver. And then Game 7, we're about to get a certified blowout. We get a blowout, and it wasn't even close, man. The Nuggets went outside. This one's getting a B. I enjoyed the first half of this series a lot, but then it just kind of tapered off from there. Next, we have the Warriors versus the Wolves. So it's game 1. Steph gets injured, which sucks, but Golden State clutches the game. Draymond was kind of going off. Same with Buddy Hield and Jimmy. The next game, Curry is sidelined. Draymond at this point is averaging a tech per game, and the Warriors just kind of start falling behind. In this series, the Wolves were just legit having their way with the Warriors. Ant and Randall, they were just too much to handle. If Curry wasn't injured, this series definitely would have been like a game 6 or 7 type of series. But without your best shooter, you just can't keep up. This series was a low B. I love seeing Ant shine the way he did, but I just wish we had a healthy Warriors to make it a little bit more competitive. Moving on to the East, we have Cavs versus Pacers. Game 1 was close until the last quarter, but the Pacers were just able to have more players on average contributing to the scoring. And then Game 2, Donovan Mitchell drops damn near a 50-piece with fries and a soda. But it doesn't matter. The Halliburton strikes again. Game winner, 1 second remaining. I mean, just how clutch is Tyrese Halliburton? This man had a game winner in every single series. Now, the next game comes and Mitchell drops another 40 bomb. I mean, this guy was playing like 2006 Kobe out there. Sadly, that would be the last time we saw Mitchell's greatness, as in the next game he would get injured, basically sealing the deal for Cleveland. A big problem with this NBA playoffs and every year in general is just that it seems like no matter how good you are, if you ain't healthy in the playoffs, you're not going to go far. This one's getting a C. Again, it could have been higher, but the injuries, man, it's just insane. Moving on to the New York Knicks versus the Boston Celtics. And let me tell you, man, ain't nothing better than seeing the Boston Celtics getting absolutely lil bro'd by a superior, more entertaining, more athletic, more clutch, more aura having team. Need I say more? Classic rivalry, super close games, straight cinema. Game 1, Celtics are up by 20, but we all know. I mean, you know this is gonna happen. You know how this is gonna go down, right? I mean, you had to have known. I mean, look at this man. Nuts all in Tatum's face. Suni Lee had to have been courtside the way Anunoby was just straight up dog walking the Celtics. Overtime, we beat the Celtics. Reigning champs, by the way. Made a whole documentary and all that. Then, we got to game 2. Yeah! Look at the fear in the eyes of Tatum right there. He wants no part of that. Look at Brunson, man. That's what you call authentic aura right there. Don't need to steal no quotes or nothing. Game 3, okay, all good. You know, can't win them all. Good game. And then game 4, well. Look at what we have here. But in all seriousness though, Tatum was going off before he got injured. He had like 42 points. But anyways, look at that stat line right here. Just straight up mogged by Jalen Brunson. And then game 5. This fucking bald menace just goes out there and cooks everyone. Sick of it, man. But then in game 6, baby, woo! Belt to ass, wasn't even close. This series is getting an S. Super fun to watch. The tension was high from the rivalry. And let me say this, man. Jalen Brunson is a playoff god. I don't care if that pisses off all the old heads. I said it, man. This dude is a problem in the playoffs. Crazy fun to watch. And the Celtics lose, which brings me and millions of others pure joy. We now get to the conference finals, starting in the West with the OKC Thunder against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, on paper, this sounds like an exciting matchup, but man, it was just so one-sided. Ant just lost all steam and SGA was straight up lil broing him with the numbers. Game 1 was a blowout. Game 2 was closer, but still a large lead. SGA and Jalen Williams were just making every single thing that they shot. Then game 3, the Wolves blow out the Thunder. Like, it might have even been worse than the first game. So I'm like, okay, 2-1. Let's see how this series goes. Bro, these two went off. I mean, they both combined for 74 points. And it was a close game too, but there was just nothing you could do to stop that type of dominance. Thunder beat them by 30, and they're going to the finals. I honestly didn't mind the series. It's just another one of those matchups that seems like it should have been a war, but it was just super one-sided. I'm giving this one a C. The Thunder are just super consistent other than that one game that they lost. Moving coast, we get the Pacers and the Knicks. So, Game 1, Knicks are doing their thing. Brunson and Cat are just straight up saucing these motherfuckers. And it's still somewhat close. But then Knicks start cooking up a lead, right? There's 3 minutes left. Knicks are up by 14. I'm like, all right, good. Knicks are up 1-0. What I was not expecting to happen is the Knicks literally choked this win in the most diabolical way possible. I swear Halliburton has Satanism and black magic on his side. This was the craziest shit since T-Mac beat the Spurs in like 30 seconds. Pacers win in overtime. The Halliburton has just attacked New York. I probably shouldn't be saying that, but it happened. Second worst day in New York history. It was a disaster. Then game 2, Pascal Siakam drops a 40-piece with a Happy Meal. Josh Hart was just paid to take a dive. Like, he had fucking 6 points. Straight up embarrassing. Then game 3 happens. Knicks are down by like 20. I'm thinking, damn, it's over. Then Cat starts chefing up. Nobody could get a rebound on him, and Knicks dug out a win. Game 4, I mean, come on, man. Look at this stat line. This is a downright disgusting triple-double. I don't know if it was snowing because Halliburton was going, and the Knicks were going outside because, man, it's 3-1 and we know where this is going. We got the LeBron meme saved up on people's profile pics. They even swapped out Jalen Brunson's face. Knicks legacy game loading. Jalen Brunson, are you not entertained? This man refuses to score under 30 at any given moment. And then game 6, the Pacers win. As sad as it was to see the Knicks lose, this series was still super fun to watch. It made me a fan of Halliburton and Nesmith and all of them. I'm going to put this one in the A tier. It was a great series, just a wild series from start to finish. We are now at the NBA Finals. OKC versus Indiana. Winner takes all. Both teams trying to get their first championship in their current city. I understand Seattle has a fucking championship, but in OKC, you know. Game 1, close game. Both teams are going back and forth. And then last play of the game, the Halliburton strikes again. This has to be the most clutch man in playoffs history. I mean, one does not simply have a game-saving shot in every single series. This is straight up Looney Tunes ass shit happening. Game 2, SGA, FTA, 12 free throws. The jokes write themselves at this point. Thunder's dub. Game 3, another close game, but this is where the Pacers bench outshined OKC. Mathurin and McConnell were just huge. It's now 2-1. Jalen Williams and SGA show out in game 4. I mean, Jalen Williams is one of my favorite players to watch. I don't know why, but he kind of reminds me of like a vintage James Harden. Maybe that's just me, but yeah. Tie series. Speaking of Jalen Williams, game 5, 40-piece chicken nugget with a Coca-Cola. I mean, this guy is just on fire. It's like in 2K where someone has a little fire emoji on the bottom. Like, he was just scoring like the rent was due. Game 6, Tyrese is injured, but he's still playing through it. Obi Toppin is going off. Siakam is having a great game as well. SGA is doing his foul baiting. Pacers win. So now it's game 7. Both teams tied at 3-3. Winner goes home a champion. First quarter starts. Halliburton is going off. Pacers are building up a good lead. Halliburton has 9 points and appears that he's going to have a legacy game. And then, 7 minutes in, it happens. Halliburton completely snaps his Achilles in one swift movement, falling to the floor. When I was watching this, I knew at this moment it was going to take a near perfect game for Indy to pull it off. It was up to players like Siakam and Nembhard to keep up the pace and continue putting shots up. It was up to players like TJ McConnell, who had to work their ass off non-stop for the rest of the night. And for a while it was working. But by the third quarter, it was just too late. The Thunder were about to seal the deal. The final buzzer went off, and with that, the Oklahoma City Thunder were your 2024-2025 NBA champions. This was a great series from both sides. It just sucks that there will always be that what if. What if Tyrese doesn't get injured? Would we have been en route for a 30-point game? Or would it not have mattered? Would the Thunder still have rose to that same level and beat the Pacers? I guess we'll never know. Overall, this series is going into the A tier. I think if Halliburton didn't get injured, it definitely would have been an S tier. But man, it just doesn't sit well with me, especially with that crazy run that Indy had. And the sad part is, Tyrese is most likely going to miss a lot of, if not the entire next season. It's a sad thing that happened, but you still got to give it to the Thunder. They brought OKC their first championship, and it was a well-earned ring. Now, where do the playoffs rank overall? The final ranking for the 2024-2025 NBA playoffs is... I'm going to go with a B. I think it was an above average playoffs that had some very high highs and some pretty low lows. I think it started off a little slow, and then in the semis it really started turning up and we got to see some great matchups. There you go. That's my ranking for this season's playoffs. This was definitely the longest video I've worked on so far, and I appreciate it if y'all would like the video and subscribe to my channel. It helps grow the channel and it also keeps me motivated in bringing you guys better content. That being said, comment down below what you think the best series was. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.